would like to understand how many of you have used chatbots for any kind of journeys. Okay, how many of you think chatbots are useless? How many of you think chatbots are pretty helpful? Amazing. How many of you have used ChatGPT? How many of you have used ChatGPT in marketing? Okay. So this would be the context of the conversation that I would have with Madhu. To introduce myself, this is Gautam Rajesh Shelley. I run a startup called AiSensy. We are Meta's business partner for WhatsApp. We help almost 15,000 businesses today with WhatsApp engagement platform, be it broadcasting, automation, marketing, we do it all. I have Madhu with me. I would love for Madhu to help you understand what does KredX does, and then we'll move on with the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Gautam. Hi, everyone. So I'll just give you a little context of what KredX is. We are a fintech. We are into supply chain finance. We started as a marketplace for invoice discounting, and today we're multi-product that way. Looking at domestic lending, trade, import, export. We also have a SaaS offering. So that's the context. In terms of how probably we should discuss, say, chatbots or say WhatsApp or whatever generative OpenAI is as such. I today have a very a B2B context and landscape. So what we've done over the last 6-7 years, or last 2 years, to be very specific, taken leaf from how a B2C segment works and tried to imbibe that. And I have very interesting numbers and journeys that we can kind of discuss. And
Amazing. Before we go ahead, I would like you to understand a bit more about what KredX does in terms of invoice discounting. What are the products, and then we can just go on with what are the flows and journeys that you have developed inside. Yeah.
So as I mentioned, we are a marketplace. So one side of my marketplace is, say, the B2C segment, which is investors, retail investors, we have FIs, banks, etc. And the other side is predominantly businesses. And today in my portfolio, we have all kind of businesses, right? From SMEs, MSMEs, enterprises, Fortune 1000 companies, global organizations whose suppliers are in India, as I mentioned, export, import, and things like that. So how we're dabbling within the marketing team is to cater to all these segments, and 80 to 85% of my segments kind of interlink at some point. So it's a very complex journey that we follow within the marketing funnels, right? So for example, at a lead generation strategy, there is no channel that we don't use. And today, over the last 6 months experiment, we've realized WhatsApp is the most profitable when I am onboarding, say, an SME segment. And interestingly, that has helped me get enterprises also on board, because enterprises now today want to onboard their vendors and suppliers whom they want to, from a very supply chain perspective, manage, or, supply chain management is one of the biggest KRAs for most CFOs offices today, right? So while we were experimenting that, we realized, okay, I'm able to onboard SMEs easily. I'm able to at least move them to the middle of the funnel. I was also able to onboard enterprises. So, to give you a little context, chatbot is not specific to WhatsApp for us, but that experimentation has kind of increased my conversion to 20-23% in a particular product, which is both enterprise and SME clubbed together. So again, I'm not going deeper into our product because it is a little complex. So we are a marketplace, and we also lend, we also fund, right? We also connect different segments together. So the journey is, as I mentioned, is a little complicated. So I'll not go deeper.
No worries. So, but what were you doing before and you discovered that, okay, now we need to take this chatbot route? Or was it just an experiment that you're trying out and you figured out, okay, that this is now working out, so we should just divulge into this?
Okay, so earlier, as I think for most organizations, and especially say businesses, your today touch point is, say, a website, right? Where you have a chat option. Earlier, we had somebody manning it, and we had autoresponders, right? Today, there is AI embedded to it, which means I'm able to talk in context to whoever is my user, because again, the user who comes to my website is not a single TG, right? It could be an SME, it could be an enterprise, it could be an investor also, right? An HNI also, a retail investor as well. So there is some context that goes on in my website level, right? And there is somebody manning it today, but that manpower is reduced, right? Earlier I would have 10 people, now maybe I have 1. Right? Then when we go to acquisition, say Facebook or email, now a customer, say, signs up. Say, for example, customer has replied to me on email. how do I take that journey forward today has changed a lot. Earlier, I would have a sales guy call him, ask him his requirement, qualify him, then move him to another team. That team would then take basic documents, then move it to another team. That team would do some evaluation. Then that will move from a risk perspective. They will get a sanction. So there was operations, risk, sales, inside sales. There was a bigger journey. Today, I'm able to cut that journey by half just through chatbots. So customer has come, I am able to ask him relevant questions, maybe collect in 75% of the time, we are able to collect documents also through WhatsApp. And once we've qualified it, which means, again, the three things that we look at, utility, cost, and experience, I think all those three currently look like they're ticking the, right checklist for us to experiment further.
Amazing. So we noticed that, okay, you went from this chatbot experience. Now, when I say using chatbot across the funnel, right? The funnel could have multiple stages, be it acquisition and then the onboarding, engagement, retention, all of these stages. Let's start with the acquisition phase first. Like you shared a bit about it, but I would like to dig a bit more deeper onto it and understand that how is it helping you in acquisition? What are the metrics? What kind of flows are you building specifically, right, with chatbots?
Okay, maybe I'll ask this question to the audience. How many of you offline events is a big acquisition channel for you? Okay, nobody? Okay. So typically what do you do, if I can ask? Like you go to an offline event, then you meet a customer, you fill a form, right? And then you give it to sales and then they call.
That's the general process. Of course, we send them a set of emails. We engage with them through WhatsApp as well. And once it's handed over to the sales team, they also have a set of automated flows that go out in the form of email and WhatsApp. And when we get a positive response from the customer, that's when the salesperson actually starts engaging.
Okay, so we were doing exactly this. I mean, while we continue to do this, what we've done over the last 1 year is when I'm meeting a customer in an offline event, my form is in the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Right. So when he's filled the form then and there, which is his name and whatever, he gets a message right away, right in front of me. I'm able to send him. Today, our WhatsApp conversations are not specific to text. And that happens everywhere. If I'm putting a newspaper ad, if I'm putting somewhere in the magazine, my QR code lands to the WhatsApp chat.
Lands to WhatsApp. Okay.
And from there, we today do multimodal discussions, which means I'm not specific to text. I also send them, we've not started voice, but that is what we're looking at. Next is voice. We also send them, visuals, documentations, PDF attachments. Over the last 6 months, we've seen a 12% increment in conversion from, funnel 1 to funnel 3. My funnel stage is 10 stages. So from 1 to 3, a 12% number is a big number in the B2B segment as such.
Right.
So that is the difference. While the other chain also continues, where sales goes, they all continue to do all of that. This was more A2B experimentation and we might double down from here. But again, in the B2B space, this might not also really fly as well because there are security concerns, people, their trust issues, right? If I am, even if I moved you from, speaking with you at an event and then given you a download about my product, my next step to qualify you is to get documents, right? So that I can qualify you further whether you become my customer or not. That's where we're failing currently. But again, it's
amazing. I would like to add my 2 cents here. Majorly, how many of you are D2C or B2C companies? Great. And how many are B2B companies? Great. Services? Okay. Great. So we have seen this a lot. This QR code things has actually worked a lot. We have a client that sells a product to around 10 lakhs of cost, right? And they do a lot of events. And the only way they acquire customers majorly is having a large QR code on their booth wherever they go, right? And that has been for us also. Wherever we put up a booth, we do it that way. The other method for everyone to understand is click to WhatsApp ads that has come up today. If you're running ads, you should definitely try out click to WhatsApp ads. It is 3x lead gen in any terms, right? Moving on further, I would like to understand that. Let's go to the engagement part of and onboarding part of things. I understand KYC has been one of the predominant use cases that a lot of businesses are using. Are you using it for KYC, and what are the other use cases that tag along with KYC via WhatsApp?
So KYC, I think is pretty straightforward. Today you have integrations with other fintech partners, and that kind of goes through. What we do actively today is user profiling through all our touch points, which is through chatbots.
Okay.
So for example, I have a user journey who is an SME who is looking for, I don't know, credit card, which is not my product, right? And I have multiple such use cases that, I get as a data. We then sit and user profile, and that has helped us today create other products. Like BNPL kind of came out from this. So we are one of the B2B BNPL providers. Um, and it came through because during COVID, our chatbots were super active because sales obviously could not go anywhere. That's where we started experimenting. And the data kind of told us that this is a requirement, right? So we started building product. That is one use case. But today at a marketing level, we do a lot of A/B testing. We do a lot of, contextual uh, campaigns, right? If I know which user to reach out for what product. Again, this is all experimentation level. So the volume that I'm talking is not massive, but we've seen very, very good results in the tunes of double digits in terms of how I've been able to get top of the funnel. For example, if I've launched a new product, I kind of have a little segment sitting with me and I know how to experiment with them. So those are the things that we've done. KYC, not really a very big use case. But what we're now experimenting is how can we do risk assessment probably, right? Or how can I move them onward in the journey where I can get more documentation. But yeah, those are, I think, we're literally at the start of.
Right. Having a brand handle on WhatsApp today, right? I think that is a major channel that we were talking about. Isn't like as a finance company, doesn't the customer face problem in terms of trusting you initially, and how do you overcome that adoption problem for the customers?
So specific to KredX, again, I'll quote an example. So for example, if I'm onboarded an enterprise, say Britannia is the enterprise. Now Britannia wants to onboard 10,000 of its suppliers who are literally sitting in whatever villages, who I cannot really converse with in English. So there, my trust implication is on the language. So I have to talk to them in their language and they might come on board. Okay. Versus an SME who needs money and I'm one of the option. Will he give me his documentation or not? Those are not trust building activities that we are currently focusing, or we don't really see how do we solve that. Engagement is the only option. So if I have 2 channels running for doing automation stuff, I have 2 salespeople kind of manning that because we know the drop-offs in the journey is pretty, pretty huge.
Right.
So that is the only way we are managing currently. But over the last 7 years, so KredX is 8 years old. Invoice discounting was we were one of the first companies to start invoice discounting. In that product, there is some sense of trust. People will still come give you their documentation and stuff like that. There's a lot of this DigiLocker stuff that has come into the picture last 2-3 years. So people are okay to, people think it is safe. But newer products, we're still facing issues. And I feel it's a journey. I don't think it's a problem that you can solve right away. It is a journey you go, whether chatbots or not. I think in B2B segment, having a very physical presence along with the customer is necessary through the journey, whatever that journey could be. And we base it on the cost that we're spending, right? I have to really keep the cost also in check. So utility, experience, and cost are the 3, pillars of whatever we experiment with.
Amazing. I think being a brand that, I've rarely seen brands who focus more on conversation on WhatsApp rather than splurging out notifications, right? Today, we are all spammed by WhatsApp, and I am one of the culprits, you can say, to drive the spam on WhatsApp, as people tell me that. But I feel it's more like WhatsApp has been that friends and family, circle for you. And if a brand can enter that friends and family circle, that is only via having conversations with the user and not just sending outbound messages, right? Not just sending them notification and offers. And I think KredX has been that brand. But did you face problems in terms of, customers being, just stuffed up with so many messages, and yours also but yours was more a conversational bit and you not doing notifications? How did that journey begin and happen?
So our customers' journey notice. So for example, an enterprise or a vendor on KredX platform will get at least 40 to 50 notifications a day.
Okay.
Because that's how the transactions are. There is lending, there is invoices, listing happens, whatever money flows. So we don't really look into notification at all. Email notification goes and customers are they're annoyed, but there's no choice because those are practices that you any which ways. Those are healthy practices. But we also don't dabble with reaching out to customer at a lead level because of compliance, right? We're a regulated entity, so we cannot really do a lot of things. So we've not gone there, but notification is not really, which is a very common use case in WhatsApp, is not something that we do. But it is more, say, middle of the funnel where I'm really trying to engage the user to take an action, not necessarily buying the end product.
What has been the conversion rates of moving engagement specifically from one stage to another while using WhatsApp?
So the last 1 year, as I was telling you, we've moved from, say, a button click and then moving to inside sales to collect documentation. Today, I try and collect documentation on WhatsApp. 20 to 23% is what the movement increment has been
Nice.
for a particular product to a particular segment so far. So,
Oh, nice. That's amazing. So when I talk about chatbots, usually there are 2 to 3 insights that come on, or 2 to 3 things that come up in terms of chatbots. First is saying that, okay, do I get a button based chatbot or do I get an AI chatbot? Next is, do I just rely on the chatbot, or do I have a team with me which kind of takes over the chatbot once the chatbot is not able to reply? How do you think about both of these things?
I think both have its merit, depends on the product. For example, if your product is complicated, how much context can the chatbot at this today's date provide? You still will ask basic questions and get a feeler of the context. And if you see the higher drop-offs, it is best that, okay, then a physical salesperson or a telecalling salesperson gets into the picture before the lead is lost. We are experimenting with both because, again, as I mentioned, our product journey is a little complicated. But if your product is plain, simple, straightforward, you can add in a lot of context. You can teach your chatbot what to ask, have a lot of context from all the the chat GPTs of the world, and that could help. Has not really helped us.
Okay.
So currently we continue to have, again, as I mentioned, multiple products. Some products we don't. In some products we continue to have. So it's
like we were discussing about Llama 2 coming up and more generative AI models coming up. Been 7 years, right, to you in this journey, seeing bots being really shitty, from today Llama 2, having understanding everything. How do you think the change is happening, and how do you see the future of chatbots going in that sense?
So when we started, we definitely wanted to have a chatbot only because we did not want somebody to come and just go away. So chatbots were more कि अच्छा somebody comes and अच्छा वहाँ पे website में he's seeing online green दिख रहा है, we would keep it green. 9 to 6 we could man somebody. If somebody comes at night, then an automated emailer goes. Today that has evolved a little more because the chatbot can also ask questions, and we are embedding questions that we want to ask. The chatbot is able to figure out answers. People are answering differently. So there is a definitive shift in terms of how users are also coming to us and asking questions. What we've also done this is also 7-8 month experiment, is languages. As I mentioned, we have customers who are also in the deep down tier 2, tier 3 cities. We picked up 4 vernacular languages. In the south, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, we see good pickup where people come, ask questions, and then they are able to land to us. So that is a definitive shift. We are also using that within the funnel where the customer is also my customer. I mean, he's in the journey as a customer. We're engaging with them to say upsell, cross-sell today, so periodicity of document collection and all of that we're able to do. But yeah, people are wary of sending documents on WhatsApp, but at least they know I don't have to send a notification that could be missed on email. So, while it is not a notification in itself, that's where the journey is. That's how we've seen it so far.
Got it. And in terms of, having that conversational data now, has that helped you in some type of campaigning that you do across? And how have you leveraged that data to either improvise the chatbot or to campaign in general?
Yeah, so earlier we were doing a lot of social listening. Now we do listening of all kinds, right? Okay. And at a marketing level, whatever data we get, we've kind of created our own structures in the backend where then we profile that data at a user level, right? Now the user is again broken down into it's not niche but very linear level. So say for example, my investor side, I today have HNIs, ultra HNIs who come to my platform to invest. Somebody who's come looking for say alternative investment versus somebody who's come for alternative investment versus FD, India, safety, things like that. So now my bucketing at a user profile level has really narrowed down. And what I'm able to do is then create campaigns and also A/B testing within the campaigns, right? So through chatbots and through all these multi-point touch points, we have now created keywords, both long tail and short tail. We've created user profiles and we've created campaigns and we're doing A/B testing. Just within that, I think over the last 1 year, we've been able to reduce our campaign cost. I don't have a number, but my engagement, my lead, top of the funnel, and all of that are in the tunes of 15 to 18% increment.
Do you think copy plays an important role in designing the chatbot
Yeah,
conversations?
generative AI, we are abusing it. We have literally abused every format, right from content to design to, I don't know, my colleague is there.
Give me some examples. How are you using generative AI in marketing across?
So as I mentioned, we're a lean team and we have multi-products and every TG is different. So every TG ka design is different, content is different. And I have 3 designers. So then we bucket our work into what is, priority L1, L2, L3. Whatever is L3, which needs to be done and goes out, we use, say, Pictory AI to get videos out. जो 2 minutes में हो जाए, otherwise the designer would take hours to do that. Content, ChatGPT, I mean, majorly we also use Copy AI, I think. We also use, my colleague is there, Kripa, she handles communications for us, so she's the one who uses. So yeah, we use it heavily. We have a 4-member content team and we multi-product, so it is super handy. Today, at KredX, 70% of my traffic is organic. So SEO, while we had a big SEO team, the team continues to stay, but we'll be able to save cost and not hire new people for newer products. So
what do you think are some mistakes someone could make while implementing chatbots that you might have made and learned from?
So one not mistake, but again, the offline bit that I mentioned, and I think I learned it a year back through one of my conversations. I think web engaged folks were engaged, and that's where because we were spending a lot of money on ads, we were spending a lot of money in newspaper and everything, and then it was lost in translation because I don't know who's coming. Even if say somebody saw me in an event, met me on an event, they come and sign up, it comes as organic. So as a team, I'm happy कि ठीक है organic आ गया, लेकिन my spend has gone on the offline event, which is a huge spend. But then this QR code or meeting people and getting them to my channel right away, that is one learning. Not mistake, I would say, but yeah, it's a big learning.
Yeah, basically.
And the second bit, I don't know if it's a mistake, but again, where do you put these touch points and what do you do with them, right? Say, for example, if somebody is coming at the top of the funnel, you've come to my website. Do I have to spend my time, energy in listening to you 100%, or do I do that within the middle of the funnel? Because we spend a lot of energy just figuring out who's coming to my website, what are they doing. I'm trying to do campaigns, run 20 things. But that did not really help. So we spend a lot of time, energy in figuring that out, right from the back end, technology, product teams, even, our communication team in figuring out a messaging. And we were not reaching anywhere because, again, top of the funnel is top of the funnel. Maybe has to be dealt with differently and not by too much listening to a touch point. But that really helped us in the middle of the funnel, where I could create products, where I could create my campaigns, journeys, reduce cost, create designs as well. For example, a small example, if I am today dealing with a SME, which is say a 50 crore to 150 crore kind of a revenue company, we've realized, sending them PDF works beautifully. You send them text, you send them anything else, they don't really. But PDF, we've seen downloads are massive. Then they take leave from there. Then they reach out to you with certain context. Okay, I had send it through this PDF. So those are learnings that we are, seeing in the journey.
Amazing. So we had vernacular. You should definitely go vernacular with chatbots. You should definitely use them for engagements. I would love to know if you have some questions in the audience that you would like to ask Madhu. Anyone from the audience has some questions regarding anything conversational AI, chatbots, marketing, AI in marketing? Anyone?
Anybody from fintech here?
I was actually interested in understanding link to WhatsApp ad trend. You said about link to WhatsApp app. So is it good for just the lead generation aspect, or is it good for conversion as well compared to a traditional website?
I would say, see, conversion is now coming up more because payments has come up on WhatsApp, right? Native payments, you can just pay to businesses on WhatsApp without taking them to any other website like Razorpay, and it is embedded seamlessly inside. So now I think from lead generation is one major part. You have a chatbot which qualifies and converts, right? I don't think conversion will pick up very fast, though in a down the year or so it might pick up really after that. But today, at least for lead qualification, we have seen humongous use cases, and then you have a sales team just calls them up and converts them. That is very huge. The ROI is at least 5 to 7x than any other channel that we've seen it.
And is that specific to say a B2C or a D2C, or is it for B2B?
I think D2C will see faster conversion. But also there is this layer of security and safety, right? That as a user, you will, I don't know, I will not really pay anything on WhatsApp, at least for now, right? So again, it depends on the user. We're too early in the journey to define that, but at least you've got the conversation started. You at least know on a one-on-one in a D2C or a B2C segment. B2B is a little complex because I'm dealing with an organization. I might deal with an employee within an organization. He might not be nobody's my end customer, right? I could be dealing with a CFO, then a finance manager, then a senior manager. Then multiple people will have multiple requirements. So conversion, I don't think will happen through a touch point that way. It has to be sales driven for us. But I think in the near future, D2C or a direct B2C product where, okay, you bought, you want to test and try, I think those could work. But I think there's a big layer still of, trust. And, there's so much fraud happening, there's AML and all of that. Those are, I don't think they're good. They're just beginning. They're scratching the surface in terms of, a couple of days back, a customer reached out to us saying that, okay, he's lost some 15, 20 lakhs because somebody sent him a link on WhatsApp or an email and he clicked it. And this is an HNI who's has a very senior position. So it isn't about also the segment, whether they are educated, not educated. I mean, it's just very pretty much in the system and it's happening to everybody. So people might be a little wary of getting into payments right away, I guess.
Right, absolutely. I think adoption would take time for payments, but I think verified accounts might just have a leverage over non-verified accounts in general terms, because non-verified accounts, you're anyway skeptical, right? And even scams go on today, even on Facebook ads, usually they have random Shopify websites ordering cycles, bicycles, or even jewelry. I've seen no one is anyway delivering anything. But
but I think the fintech space is abused that way, right? From the top of the funnel, your Bajaj Finances of the world, or everybody, for that matter, KredX as well. While we not really use WhatsApp as such, but lead gen at that level is even if it is a verified, now have Truecaller, everybody's blocking you left, right, and center everywhere. So yeah, I think
right. Anyone else with a question? Yeah, please. 1 second. Can we take just one question? One question. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Talking about customer segmentation, how has using chatbots actually helped you segment your customer better than you?
yes, it has. So what is important here is listening, right? Say, for example, you are a customer, you came to me through my website, right? And you asked me these 5 questions, which you asked, which was not prompted through the chatbot, right? So my system then so we've built a product, the product has built a product in the backend where at a keyword level, we are segmenting. So for example, if you asked, sorry, sir, what business are you into? Beverages, right? So for example, you came and you asked, I want to have a cold beverage that doesn't go bad for 500 days, for example. And then another user came to my WhatsApp and said that, okay, I want to buy this particular product, right? And then somebody else came through my event, and there, when I send him my PDF, he was chatting and asking, is there any other flavor that you have? So what my system does is then in the backend, user profiles is basis keywords. So what as a team we've done is we've built close to 2,000, 2,500 keywords as such, which is short tail, long tail, right? And the system then gives me data. These are the people who came asking for these. Now within those keywords, I'll get a general sense whether your product is there with me or not there with me. If not there with me, am I building, not building? Those are different discussions. But then that gives me a very clean sense of what is the market looking for. And obviously user persona, user behavior is something that you get through analytic tools. Depends on the kind of number of users coming in. We don't deal with the scale that a D2C brand would deal. But I'm still dealing with, say, 5,000 to 6,000 SMEs reaching out to me on a monthly basis. So then I get a sense, I create content accordingly. So for example, you might in your system get a sense that, okay, this is my user, and analytics will tell you their behavior. Acha, theek hai, 25 to 35. What will a 25 to 35-year-old want to see? It could be a video. So you embed a video content. And then you create the journey from there. Theek hai, video nahi chala. I mean, video bhej diya. You thought it was good. It did not work. Open rates were less. People did not download, did not click. And then you try the next mode. It could be text. It could be speech. It could be, taking them to a webinar, taking them to an event. So it's a journey for sure. But at a very, top of the funnel level, you can segment and at least create your proprietary content that way. And I've seen journeys moving beautifully in the B2B space as well, while B2C will definitely have more uptakes. By just doing this, as I was mentioning, 22 to 23%, just moving from one scale of the funnel to the other has happened. But yeah, I mean, if D2C, it'll work beautifully. I think what you will need is a lot of manpower to do that content creation. That is where generative AI comes into picture. I'm a big fan of saying, like, there's so many tools that we use, and they're cheap also. Right? Definitely cheaper, easy to handle. Like, so.
You don't see a difference in quality with the AI.
No, I mean, you'll have to add some context. You can't just copy paste. That's where your copywriters will come into the picture. But even today, I think with the GPT, I think we use 3.5 or 4, but we are able to bring in context as well. At least 80% of your time is saved building the basics. Baki 15% though, you'll have to spend that time.
There is a good level that it is achieving, and after that you have to add your own sense, your own language, or your own context a bit, and then it just comes out like naturally, right? Like to our content writers, I just give them the context writing, they add some their context and just puts it to GPT. वहाँ से WhatsApp का message निकल के आ जाता है, and we just broadcast it after that. So that has been what has been we've been also doing internally a lot actually. So yeah, thanks a lot everyone. Thanks a lot Madhu for doing this, and so yeah.
WebEngage. Retention simplified.